Yo.
Guys, this is episode 69 of the Simple Man Wrestling Podcast. We're back, baby. Let's go.
We've been saving it.
We go. The gang's all here.
The gang is back, man. It's been a while.
What up?
Man, okay. I don't know. Where do you guys want to start? I mean, let's talk about our shirts. We got Gold Rush. Oren, explain your shirt.
Let's go. Chase Pammy's Club out here in Las Vegas. We got a site here in Vegas. We got a site out in Reno. So slowly taking over Nevada wrestling.
Very telling. It's Chase Pammy's Club. It's not. This is our club. It's Chase Pammy's Club. So very
Correct.
telling. Very telling
Correct.
of the situation. Brady, you're repping CBU.
Got the CBU. Closest D1 team to us, so got to support,
That's fair. That's fair. Love what Derek Moore is doing down there in CBU. Great
Yes, sir.
coaching staff on there. Sean O'Rourke, the trader.
Hey, dual win today. Dual win. I mean, they got it done. So that was exciting too. I don't know. Were you there, Brian? Were you doing the commentary?
Yeah, that's why I'm super sunburned right now. Dude, it's just this part of my face and then the inside of this arm and the outside of this arm.
Oh man. Well,
great duel though.
Yeah, no, super exciting. I was tuning in a little bit and I was like, man, this is good. It came down.
Yeah.
I tried to speak it into existence. I was like, man, the only way CSUB has a chance is if they get 2 pins and a tech. And then Ninehouse got the pin, and then Ferrari got the tech, and I was like, oh, Jake Andrews, he can lat drop people. Like, there's a chance. But that's a big ask, at heavyweight. And maybe the major. He could have got the major, but I mean, I don't know. I don't really want to pick apart that duel in this current junction. When you ask people questions and you're really just trying to get them to ask what's up with you. So I'm going to talk about my shirt. This is kind of the root of it. This is like from 2012, maybe. The history behind this shirt, my high school coach had walked in with it. I'm like, hey, that's a cool shirt. And he gave it to me off of his back. Said, here you go.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah. So our namesake, Simple Men Wrestling Podcast. We're back, guys. Episode 69. Sean, you sent some bullcrap this week in the group chat. And I want to take a moment just to kind of address what went through my mind in typical Brian fashion. Was first defensive, taking it personally. How dare you? And the whole keeping track of, I beat Brian on this date. I got a lot of takedowns on him, and I had to verify the date. That's what I did first. So I went back to 2016. I verified the date. I'm like, okay, that the date is correct. And then you posted the next thing, and I was like, dude, why am I your target? At first that's kind of cool, I guess. I was such a big deal for you, but I'm focused on trying to beat Lorenzo De La Riva. I'm focusing on trying to handle Coleman Hammond. I got Matt Penachek. He's eligible this year. He's redshirt for his second year competing. I got to beat him out for the spot. I'm worried about those guys. For you, though, it was a big deal that you could just beat me, I guess, in the practice room. The Black Widows in the corner, I guess, had a freaking scoreboard, and you checked with them after. So explain yourself, because that's, obviously that's a big deal for you.
Well, for the listeners to kind of have perspective on what even the heck we're talking about, in our group chat the other day, I posted some photos that I had found in an old notebook from college, labeled CSUB Wrestling on it. And I sent some photos of what I had written in the notebook, and that is what Brian is all twisted up about. But basically the story behind the notebook is, I believe, our coaches, Mike Mendoza and Riley Orozco, man, they really preached a lot about, we did a lot of mental training and a lot of mindset work. And I think part of that, one off season was getting into journaling. And it's even something that we preach to our kids at Granite Hills is, we talked a lot about it in the summer leading up to Fargo. Just journaling, putting things in from your mind at practice and putting it on paper. And, then you can kind of reflect back and look at it and see what's improving, what's not improving. Remember what your goals were that you've previously written down. And Brian just twisted up that at one point I had wrote that we wrestled live and I got a bunch of points on him, and he doesn't like the fact that I scored on him. I don't know what, like, sorry, it happened at practice. I don't know what you want me to say. There's other people's names in here too. I just didn't send you pictures of those ones. So
What
I'm
other
sorry,
names?
Brian. This is a heartfelt apology. I don't want to hurt your feelings.
No, we want feelings hurt. What other names are in there?
Put Jacob
I think
Dalen in
there's a good
there.
amount
Hey, what was
of
the score between you and Coleman that day? You didn't put that one down.
probably that's who I was just about to mention. I think there's a little bit about here of Coleman Hammond just absolutely torching me for hours on end with an inside out leg ride that I couldn't defend, and now teach to my own kids because it's still that good. So there's other guys' names there's tons of names in here. There's even some of my, like, after we beat Cal Baptist that year, 29-12. I won 6-2 individually, and there's notes about, how my match went and what I felt about it and what I needed to work on. So I think it's a great tactic. I think a lot of wrestlers underutilize that. I think it's good to do this.
Sean, were you pretty consistent about journaling throughout that season?
I was.
What was your last journal entry?
Let's find out.
Read it. Read it for us. Actually, never mind. If it's really personal because you quit and
It is
you get
kind of.
on
It
the
is kind
spot,
of.
never mind. Let's not go there.
It's a little personal.
Oren, in Chase Pammy's Wrestling Academy Gold Rush, do you guys do any journaling?
Yeah, sometimes they task the kids with journaling. They're very much they like to preach the long game to the kids. So even from like the younger kids to all the way up to the high schoolers, they're really about kind of like writing down how you did, your feelings, your thoughts, and things like that. I know Chase and Coach Dragani, they oftentimes after they'll have like the high school kids and the younger kids at a big tournament together, they'll kind of come back, whiteboard it all, pros and cons of what they thought for kind of each kid, and then they'll kind of talk through it at practice. So kind of like that kind of stuff, cool things to kind of take in from Coach Pammy and stuff like that.
Brady, do you second the journaling?
I was never that much into it. I was kind of more like at a wrestling camp just to absorb the technique and remember it. Because back in the day, there wasn't always like Flow Wrestling clips on everything. So it was like, hey, you got all these college guys teaching you technique. You want to remember it. So just writing down the details of it. But it's definitely something we've been encouraging as a club now, especially in the off season a lot with Fargo and everything. And we're doing training camps and stuff like that with same thing. A lot of guys coming down, college coaches. But it's definitely something that's then being instilled in our club for sure. It's a work in progress though.
There's a guy, Levi Jones, who came out with a journal called All In, and I know Ben Askren's been promoting it and kind of working alongside him with that on a additional version with that. I tried to get him on the podcast, and he said he was down, but then we just couldn't link up days. So that was just one of, I think, a few podcasts I tried to get going during the wrestling season, but it's hard doing that. But if Levi Jones or anybody that knows Levi Jones is listening, I'm DMing you again right after the high school season, because I think obviously this is a super important part of wrestling is the mental side, but also I think writing down the things that you need to work on, or if you have some good ideas, there's not always a wrestling mat around. So if you have your journal on you, can write it down.
Well,
I'm going to conclude that thought.
what are we moving into? We going straight into state, or we want to talk about previous stuff?
I mean, honestly, I kind of want to just hear your quick thoughts on, we just got done with the Oklahoma State Iowa duel. It's Sunday evening. Obviously we got state week, but big duel just happened. I mean, Can we just get a quick, what are your guys' thoughts on that? Let's go Oren, just because you're to the left of me in my gallery view right now on the screen.
I mean, it was a show of majors there up until Teamer. We were trading off majors there. Teamer was the first decision, and then just kind of kept it going with Caliendo. He got another major. And I think really everything kind of got turned at 184s. I think that was kind of like the big shebang, obviously. Little Ferrari coming in and just being able to take down Plot twice in one match. I mean, I didn't see that coming. The guy's tough to take down, but to get on his own offense like that was super impressive against three-time All-American Dustin Plot. That was crazy.
Sean, you got any takeaways?
Yeah, I mean, with that match with Plot and Ferrari, it's just Plot's offense is amazing. And I felt like for some reason tonight it seemed completely shut down. I don't think he really threatened any leg attacks. He was pressuring forward, and that's what Ferrari wants to hit he's going cross pop to the sweep single, and he moves so well to it. But I was watching that takedown back, and he's kind of back pressuring, and then as Plots continue to pressure forward, that's when he's using that counter pressure to that pop, and he's tough. I think it's really hard for people to get to his legs. I don't think Plot was able to do it, and even Starachi struggled with it. So he's gonna be fun for Iowa the next couple of years. And curious to know what's gonna happen at the end of the season. After that, do we roll with Ferrari and try to get top three at NCAAs, or does Iowa say nope, we're gonna stick with Arnold? I don't know. It's gonna be interesting.
Brady Beeman?
It was a great duel. I was entertained the whole time. I'll start at the lower weights, 33s. I think that was super cool to see Rin Sakamoto. I think that's like a positive of seeing potential Japanese guys come over and wrestle. I watched like the Ono thing this week, and he looks like he loves Penn State and he like loves college. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's there within the next couple years. And I honestly thought he looked good. Like, I mean, he's wrestling the national finalist in his first college match, I think, ever in Carver Hawkeye against the number 2 team in the country. And he almost, held off a major. And I thought he looked pretty good. I mean, he didn't do bad on bottom. He didn't get turned. He got to his feet. Almost got a takedown. He just kind of got a little bit out position with folk style wrestling, I think. So I think that was cool. I think he's got a lot of upside. So that was awesome. I thought Buchanan looked really good for 97. Hendrickson is really good, but I don't know if he can crack the top 2. Hopefully he can give someone a run for their money. And then obviously Plot kind of got beat. That was tough, Ferrari just stays so low in this 3-point stance / knee that he had no answers. Like, that's tough. You gotta have something for that because he stayed there for 6 minutes or so.
Yeah, I think I really like what you said about Rin Sakamoto. I think back in the day that was kind of the thing, and I think a large part of this because there is a love for combat sports in Japan culturally. And I think the way that they've kind of set up their system now, there's not really a lot of incentive to leave Japan other than to go and get different looks or for money, And I think the way, again, they have up their system, Odaguru and Ono, they go to the same college. Like, they have the same coach. And we saw in the Ono thing, the all access. I mean, Ono, dude, he's kind of a character. And some of the things he would say, I'm not going to say right now, just because, cancel culture is still thriving. So I don't want to impersonate or appropriate any culture. But if you look at Odaguru, it's really cool. And I will say this, I got a little bit of the inside scoop, just because, we have a former Frontier wrestler over there in Iowa's lineup. But he got the chance to kind of wrestle with Odaguru a little bit. He's been there for a few months. And I think what a great feel for Spencer Lee. And I think this Wednesday we'll get a chance to kind of see what happens. I'm not sure if I'm down with the Cowboys throwing out Rin Sakamoto, though. I mean, that might have been like his first college match.
It looked
like Carver Hawkeye, he's like 18 years old, and just throwing him into the Wolf's den and expect him to take out Drake Ayala. I mean, I don't know. I don't think they have those expectations. But if your first college match is Carver Hawkeye, and probably your first competitive folk style match is in Carver Hawkeye, I mean, that's pretty epic.
Yeah. I think part of the reason is Whitcraft. He's good. He can beat guys, but I think Ayala's style was just going to absolutely break him. Because he goes big, moves. Ayala stays in really good position. And I honestly thought he was going to get pieced up if they did throw him out there. I was like, I put in all the group chats. I'm like, this is at least a major, if not a tech.
Wait, you have
So-
more than one group chat?
Well, we got the granite one. We got we got the
Okay.
granite one. Come on.
Oren,
We got
don't pretend like we don't have our own group chat with Brady and Sean not in it.
Sure, sure, sure.
What did I do wrong?
You're
Why am I
guilty
getting
by
brought into
you
this?
take that shirt off your back or turn inside out. And Brady, I get it. You just they're close, they're local.
Yeah.
Cal Poly on this day of days, Sean.
I support
Oh, yeah.
all our California colleges.
Dude, that's strike two. You're gonna you're gonna say some crazy thing this upcoming week that's gonna put you on strike three, and then I have to take you down, dude. We're gonna have to settle.
It's just adding insult to sunburn at this point. It's just really not.
Yeah.
Not cool.
Yeah.
Hey.
I mean, I have a lot of aloe vera, but not that much. You know what I mean?
Let's see a little takedown match, like maybe in the back rooms of state this week.
I called him out last year and the year before. He's been ducking me. He's like, oh, well, we have this tournament we got to get ready for. I'm just like, dude, it's not going to take that long for me to piece you up.
Exactly.
Hey,
let's do a
Freestyle State.
weight.
Book it.
Let's do a catch weight. Hey, let's do a catch weight for charity, Sean.
I'm down. Beat the streak, San Diego, coming soon.
We'll come down to San Diego. We'll duel you guys. And then before the duel, we'll do it.
And then we'll coach in our singlets. Post match.
And then it's like you got to make it weird. It's like I actually thought this was kind of a good idea, and then you're like, well, let's wear singlets.
It's a great idea.
Let's do a runway show where who looks better in a singlet. How about that?
Okay.
Ooh.
All right.
Good deal.
I'll do a calendar shoot.
All right. What are we moving into here?
I mean, for the sake of time, it's a Sunday night. Three of us have wives, so I think it's important that we probably start getting into the state tournament.
Yeah, let's do state. Hey, my thing is, I say we just jump bottom weight to the top weight and just kind of like title contenders, and then any kind of dark horses that we think are going to be some surprises. But if we start at 106, I don't really think any dark horses are going to do anything. I am impressed with the way Garza wrestles from Clovis, but to me, Sammy Sanchez from Esperanza, I've been watching him all year. That kid is fun to watch. He just goes.
He's got a motor.
I haven't had a chance to watch Sammy Sanchez yet. I didn't coach at Doc this year. I was at Redwood. Carl was at Doc. But the way that I've seen Sammy wrestle in years past, because Santino is wrestling at CCB, and Sammy would come up during the summer. And kind of got a chance to see him move a little bit. Man, really talented freshman, and I think especially at this weight at 106. I think there's a couple guys that I feel like have that experience, like Anthony Garza for one. Garza's a dog, dude. Like Garza's really tough. There's a lot of really talented freshmen. There's Rios from St. John Bosco. Jax Vang had a really competitive match with Garza at Masters Finals. And not to mention Nantho Granados, returning state placer. I mean, if you're a senior at this weight, that helps a lot, That helps a lot. So very interested to see what's going to happen. I feel like for me, this is like 125s in college. There's a lot of young guys that are there. It's going to be a big moment. And there's a lot of really tough guys like Tyler Sweet, Clovis North. At one point, he was a top 5 guy. Currently, he's ranked 7th. And I think he ended up maybe placing 4th or 5th at Central Section Masters. Again, a lot of really tough guys. And I'm going to be very interested to see how this weight shakes out.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I think Sammy's if he shows up and he doesn't have this freshman shell shock, then I think he handles his business there. I think Rios is the closest guy that's been anywhere near him all year. It's competitive, but he just can't win those a couple exchanges. Can he make the adjustments? Maybe. I like Garza a lot. I just don't think I don't know if he can pull it off. I think he's a solid second or third for sure. Especially beating Vang twice now. I think he lost in the duel, right? I think he got majored in the duel, and then he came back and beat him at Valley or Bastard. What the 2 weeks in a row that you guys got? I want to say.
Yeah, well, yeah, he beat him in the duel 7-3, and then he lost at Valley 8-3, and then I know Garza won. I want to say it was competitive. I'm pretty sure Vang got a tank down. But I gotta go back and I gotta look at the.
I think he beat him. I think he beat him by 5 or 6 in the finals, right? Masters finals.
That sounds great. Honestly, I got memory sometimes like a goldfish. Like I just focus on the next thing. So,
Sean,
I've got the top five being pretty solid here with Sammy coming out on top, but the 2 through 5 spot are, in my opinion, all kind of interchangeable. So it'll pretty much be a battle for second. It'll be interesting though.
Going on 113s.
Warren, get us started at 113s. What do you
Oh
see?
man, I mean, top two. There's a cool finals from, or I would say, exciting finals from Doc B, Paul Ruiz from Buchanan, Henry Islickian from Birmingham. Man, some drama too. I was sitting next to the Birmingham / Bosco Armenian group. They were a nice group of guys. I mean, fun to talk to, but they were pretty mad at some of the calls in that Islickian match, and they made it known, and they were throwing water bottles on the mat, and it was pretty funny. They somehow convinced the Dog Buchanan establishment that it wasn't really them. I think one of their guys got kicked out. Actually, the younger guy, the one who's always coaching. I don't really know his name, but
We don't need to say any names on this podcast.
no names, no
The
names.
statute of limitations is still there.
I was impressed by Paul Ruiz, but Aslikian to me is the top dog here. State champ last year at 106. I don't see him losing to anyone on this list. I mean, Murillo from Esperanza, watched him wrestle a little bit this year. He was hurt for a lot of the year. I had a kid. My kid beat him at Hamada pretty handily, but it seemed like he was pretty hurt because Reno TOC the following week, he was just running through kids and ran through my kid the same way. So I think he can make a statement. I think he'll be higher than 7th, but to me, it'll be Aslickian Ruiz in the finals, and I think Aslickian will get it done.
I agree.
Sean,
I
go ahead,
agree.
Sean.
Yeah, I think Henry gets back on top. I mean, that match with Ruiz in the finals of Doc was that it could have gone a million different ways, and I'm not sure the refs made the right calls, but I think Henry gets it done. That's probably going to be one of the more exciting finals matches too. So that'll be good.
Brady?
I got the same as you guys. I think Henry's the guy for this weight. Ruiz can take him out though. I mean, that's the game plan. The Doc B finals, kind of steal a takedown or two and a judgment ref call of a stall or not, or that's the path to victory for him. I think so. It's going to come down to that. I think those are the top two guys for sure.
I think last year I picked the Asiclian to win 106, and I was right. Now, here's the thing. I love Asiclian. I think he's super tough. I'm a big fan of Jimmy Medeiros at Birmingham. But what really impressed me with Paul Ruiz this last tournament in the finals, he gets taken down by Carlos Mendoza almost right away. And then he comes back and techs him. So for me as a freshman being in a big event like that, and yeah, we're in Selland Arena, maybe there's some comfort there, being able to sleep in your own bed that night, being local, but being in that kind of arena where it very much is trying to simulate what it's like, what it's going to be like to be in the state finals. Obviously, it's not quite the same thing, but the fact that you had to face some adversity and wrestle through it, right? I think that's pretty impressive. I might pick Ruiz. I might pick Ruiz just to be counter to you guys. I'm, again, big fan of Asiclian. I'm going to pick Paul Ruiz to take the 113 state championship title.
All right.
You better watch your back at state is all I'm saying.
Exactly. The Armenians they know where you live. They already know where you live.
All right.
His name's Brian Batista. He lives here. No, I'm kidding.
Listen, guys, I possess a certain set of skills.
Okay? I'm ready to go. They have more than just water bottles. I'll tell you that.
I got a bow in my closet downstairs, so I'm ready to go.
There you go.
All right, 120s.
Here we go. This one will be interesting.
I'll go first, I guess.
Yeah,
I think Rockland's looked really good all year. I think he's the guy to beat. Edwin, obviously, he's coming off an ankle injury from Doc B, but watching him the last 2 weeks down in San Diego, he's looked pretty good. So I think he's back, and it's gonna be a good match. I think if they can both get there, this weight is it's crazy because they've been the same guys in the weight for this is the 3rd year in a row. 106, 113, now 120. So obviously anything can happen. I think those two guys make the finals, and I can see it going over. It's gonna be a one takedown kind of match, or who can maybe get a late takedown and get a ride out or something like that will be the deciding factor.
Yeah.
I think same as Brady, but I don't want to sleep too much on Sean Wilcox and
Yes.
Paulo Valdez. I think those two, especially Wilcox, are very crafty. I definitely know the Bosco guys are going to work on, making adjustments, and he's 0-1 versus Zinkin. But if he gets paired up with Sierra, I know that match has been wrestled multiple times over the last couple years. But definitely Rockland is the guy to beat. I mean, he's slick. I'm watching him all year. At Doc in 5 counties, he's slick. He's got a nasty slide by, kind of Jack's Forrest-esque. He's dangerous, and I think if it's him and Sierra, I think Zinkin gets it done again. But it should be interesting. That'll be big team points right there too.
Yeah, I agree. Those are the top three. My thing is, I mean, Rockland, obviously the guy returning state champ. But any way you pair up these three, they're gonna be close matches. And the thing is, Rockland most of the time wins the close matches, especially when they're big. But you never know. I could see Edwin, and I love Edwin, but he could possibly be hurt. But I mean, not sure he made his statement at state as well, making it to the finals. But I think Wilcox is going to be the danger here. I think if Wilcox and Sierra run into each other in the semis, I think Sierra could find himself in trouble. I think Wilcox is ready. Also, a little background there. I think his mom also threw a water bottle at Doc B.
A lot of water bottles getting thrown.
Yeah.
Guys, keep your water bottles
After
in
it
your
was
hands.
after his,
And Oren, stop spreading juice because we see these
It's
people at
juice.
tournaments.
It's
okay?
juice. Now, when she was nice, she talked to me for like 30 minutes before that match, or before one of his previous matches that he had dominated in. But that match he had won, she just didn't like the referee's call. So even after he won, she threw the water bottle, and I was like, "What are you doing?" Oh, I just hit my knuckles. But I think Wilcox might make a statement here. But he's got. I mean, first he's got to get, if it goes 1, 2, and 3 like this, he's got to get to Edwin Sierra first. I think that's going to be a very tight match, and then he's got to be able to beat Edwin and Rockland in a row. I think that's going to be very tough, but I think he could do it. But at the end of the day, I think Rockland's going to be the guy.
Yeah, Rockland has really impressed me. And honestly, a lot of it just comes back to confidence, And I remember him being an eighth grader. And I think I've told this story before. He was an eighth grader, and I was at a friend's tailgate event at Fresno State football game, and happened to just run some wrestlers classic. And Rockland was an eighth grader, and I didn't know who he was. And I'm like, "Oh, what's your name?" He's like, "Rocky," and I'm like, "Okay, cool. Like, are you any good?" Like, kind of messing with him. He's like, "Yeah, pretty good." Right? Yeah, he's pretty good. He's a good wrestler. And I think again, the way they kind of handled Rivas from Mission Oak in the Masters finals, I mean, he kind of dominated him, right? And I think pretty much high likelihood is going to make the finals. That question is though, Edwin Sierra. I mean, they didn't wrestle in the duel, right? And I think that would have been obviously a good opportunity for both of them to kind of see each other. But the fact that that didn't happen, I mean, Sierra defaulted Doc Buchanan. But again, they were also at different weights then too. So it's going to be very interesting to me. And honestly, I think when it comes down to, we can talk about this a little bit later for the team race. Those direct head-to-heads are going to be very important, I think, for both of these teams and Powell Buchanan. This could potentially be one of them.
Did really quick, did Sierra wrestle one of the Brawley kids in the finals at Masters?
That would be a San Diego question.
Yeah, he wrestled Ortiz.
He did, and how was that match? Remember? Like, did he dominate?
It was technical.
He dominated.
Dominated.
Yeah.
Then I feel like he's good to go.
He looks good. I mean, we've seen him in the last 2 weeks. I think he looks 100% to me.
Yeah.
So we'll see. That's good for their team title hopes for sure.
All right, moving on. 126.
Let's see.
Weights.
This is going to be a good weight.
Yeah.
You got Ronnie Ramirez, Antonio Rodriguez, Isaiah Cortez, and Nathan Carrillo as your top four. Don't want to sleep on Slater Hicks at the 5 either. Coming in, I believe, undefeated on the year. This is gonna be a tough one. It's kind of everyone's beating everyone. One's beating 3, three's beating 1, two's beating 3, four's beating 3, three's beating 4. It's everyone's kind of beating each other. So it's gonna come out to who performs the best at state. And if it's probably gonna hold this way, it should be really interesting. It's gonna be a good weight.
Ramirez, I was definitely a little disappointed with him at Reno TOC. To be honest, Antonio Rodriguez, I'm always impressed with that kid. Same with Carrillo, and also Cortez. I feel like him and his brother are just they're not where they were at when they were state champions, and it could also be just kind of like the weights that they're at, super tough weights. But Ronnie Ramirez looked great at Doc Buchanan, and that Antonio Rodriguez final, I thought Rodriguez was going to win that, and I felt like I can't remember the score, but Ramirez controlled that match. It's his way to lose. Okie State commit, but I mean this way, 8 returning state medalists, and then the non returning state medalist is Slater Hicks, and I think that guy's an absolute dog. I think he could he's definitely going to place, and I think he'll definitely crack the top 4, to be honest. But this weight is wild. I think Ramirez is getting it, but to make the finals, Rodriguez, Carrillo, Cortez, Hicks, it could be anybody.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of just scrolling through here. I'm trying to remember. So I was there obviously for Battle for the Belt, and Siraj Sadu ended up getting hurt mid match against Slater Hicks, and it seems like he's been able to kind of bounce back from that. Slater is somebody where when I look at how he wrestles, he very much reminds me of Chance Rich, like very similar style. Chance Rich, obviously being one of his coaches alongside Brian Peterson, Valencia High School. Slater's super tough. Now, he was a seeded guy, I believe, last year and ended up just not performing. So the big thing that I think for Slater is I do think he's a legit dark horse to win a state title this year. But the big thing is, can he mentally adapt to the environment? Can he mentally adapt to the big moment? And I think the big thing is for Slater, if I'm talking to Slater right now, is like, dude, like you get to do this. Like be grateful you get to be in this arena. It's supposed to be fun. And for somebody that wrestles the way that Slater wrestles, because again, I've seen it with Chance Rich being my roommate, being my teammate in college, it's like, dude, just relax and have fun. Because when you do that, that creativity and your style are going to be able to open up a little bit more. And you're going to create more scoring opportunities for yourself. And you want to beat the best guys in this weight. Dogs, Nathan Carrillo, Isaiah Cortez, Anthony Rodriguez, Ronnie Ramirez. I mean, if you want to beat these guys, let's say you move into this weekend, you're the fifth seed, you're going to have to beat, some pretty tough guys to win it. Right. So I think it's a great opportunity for him and really for all these guys. Cortez took out Rodriguez in the CCS Masters Championship 7-2. And that was a really big win for him, obviously. My thing is, though, is you're Cortez, man, can you beat Ronnie Ramirez? And I think the big thing, and this is what I see from Gilroy every single year, is they always come in, man, like, could this be Gilroy's year to take a team title? And they always kind of fall short. They always come out a little bit flat. And, that's really frustrating because they have a very talented team, right? And I'm going to say the same thing. They are very capable of doing that. But can they show up all 3 days of the state tournament and do what they need to do? I don't know. And I think, honestly, if they want a chance to really contend for a team title, it's going to come down to guys like Isaiah Cortez to really open up and get that win over Ronnie Ramirez. But he's probably going to have to wrestle Rodriguez again. I don't know how the seeds are going to come out.
Yeah, this one's gonna be tough with that seating on that other side of the bracket, but it's that's keep your eyes tuned from round of 16 to quarters in that weight, because this weight is all the places are going to be. I mean, if you look at the rankings, there's like 10 D1 guys already committed right there, I think, or at least 8.
And you got other guys too. I mean, like we haven't even talked about Rocky Humphrey. Rocky Humphrey's a dog too from Sultana High School, Southern section. I mean, there's a lot of really good guys here.
No, there's a lot of good guys. I like Siraj. He looked really good at Doc B. I thought he took obviously has like 2 losses I think on the season, but and then Thunder coming in there and beating Paris pretty handedly, I think, in last week or yesterday or whatever that was. So that's obviously the rankings are going to be the brackets are going to be coming out tomorrow. So tomorrow it should be interesting. That's going to be a fun weight. I think Ronnie's the guy to beat, but this weight is who's performing on all cylinders and focused. So we'll see.
Is this the most stacked weight, do we think, at state, this or 175?
I think this
most stacked.
This is gotta be.
To me, this is hard to beat.
If you look at like the top 16 in terms of like who can actually get on the podium, This has got to be up there.
right?
This has got to be.
Yeah. And they how many
We'll keep
they
going,
seed
but
they seed to 12 at the state meet?
I thought they just separated the
Mm,
top 4.
no.
No, they
They
used to do
seed the
top
top
4, but now it's
It's a
top
16,
top
I
16,
think.
right?
16.
And
Yeah,
then the rest are kind of done by that weird
it's
ranking
top
thing.
16.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think a couple of our guys were in that area last year. We were seeded.
Yeah. But it used to be like how Oren said, it was top 4, and then they had it at one point where it was like just making sure that the ones from
1
every
and 2.
section were all separated.
They used to just separate 1 and 2 in the state. That was it.
Yeah,
It was just
that
like
was
you're
it.
on that side, you're on that side. That's when I was in high school. That was all they had.
It was the formula back then. That was it.
Yeah, yeah. Yep.
All right. 132.
32s.
I like this one. Moses Mendoza.
And Moses Mendoza. I mean, you guys remember? I think it was maybe his freshman year. I heard some rumors he was having trouble getting his weight down, and it was actually, honestly, it's really cool that he came back, because for a moment I thought he was going to be done, like he was going to be done wrestling. I'm like, man, that really sucks. But the fact that he came back, ended up taking third in state last year at 120s, and is now coming in, the probable number 1 seed. I mean, this is a big deal. I mean, I don't know, where are you guys at? I mean, Billy Townsend's super tough. Sometimes I think the way that he wrestles, I think he kind of relaxes a little bit in some close matches. I think he can finish matches a little bit stronger. But they also got guys like Ashton Bessemer, who's super tough. Leo Macias from Kingsburg, who's a dog. Cale Humphrey, who's a dog. I mean, there's a lot of dogs in this weight class.
There are, but this is Moses's weight. After Doc B, I was a little concerned. Besmer won that one. He beat my boy Manny Saldate in the finals. Thought Saldate was going to get him, but Besmer got the best of him. You know, those Buchanan kids, they rise to the top, especially at the highest occasions. But Mendoza came back after that. I can't remember what tournament it was, but he looked back to form. I don't think anyone's stopping him. The kid, I was so impressed. My kid Manny also wrestled him finals of Reno TOC. Got him in some what's it called, some Abyss rolls. Caught him on his back twice. It was like 14-0, 14-2, like couple takedowns in. So Mendoza knows how to put points on the board. He knows how to get it done. Besmer got the best of him at Doc B, but I think he gets it done again. Townsend's good. It's just, to me here, it's Mendoza's kind of in his own tier. But I think Townsend could obviously be a top three contender, maybe crack his way into the finals if he gets a shot at Besmer, but it'll be tough.
Yeah, I'm the same. I think this is Moses's weight to lose. He bounced back at 5 counties was that tournament, and he dominated.
That's what it was.
I don't know if at Doc B, I think he just kind of gave up an early takedown and let the crowd get the best of him. And yeah, that got a little bit ugly there. But I think for Poway's and Buchanan's team race, this is a crucial weight. You know, who can win that semi? It's going to be big point differential there. And I don't have they met on the year
Yeah,
yet?
they have 6-0 at the duel.
Okay, 6-0.
Oh,
Obviously that's a major swing match, so that'll be one to keep your eye on. I don't think either of them has much path, beyond that. Macias is really tough. I like Macias. He'll be the 4 seed though, probably. So
And he's gonna have to wrestle Cale Humphrey, who's pretty tough.
Yeah. Agree.
And I think honestly, like I don't mean to cut in front of you, Sean, and circle back around, but I will. Some of these, like the guys that are also in like the top 16. I mean, there's some really tough guys here. Some really tough freshmen. Like Michael Terrell from Las Gals is really tough. He was I think at maybe 138s at one point, and then maybe came down. I watched him wrestle at Arabalo. He's got another brother that's also really tough. The Esperanza guy, Areola, is pretty tough. And then, we got a tough freshman too. We got Gabe Estrada who's coming in the mix. So, I mean, there's a lot of really tough young guys and a lot of guys that are going to be first time at the state tournament. So we'll kind of see how they deal with that.
It's a 2-dog race, in my opinion. Mendoza and Besmer, and I think Mendoza gets the best of them. I think it's closer than the Five Counties match when he beat Besmer 16-1, but I definitely think Mendoza's getting it done and potentially bonus. So should be good. I'm excited.
You think he gets bonus?
But he just tagged him at Five Counties. I mean, I could see it.
He gets after it. I could see that too. He can open up matches.
Yeah, I mean they scored a lot of points combined at Doc B. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. State tournament's a little bit different sometimes for people. And I think for Mendoza, sometimes a little bit not of a head case, but I think he sometimes lack confidence in himself. That's going to be a big opportunity for him to overcome that and be able to replicate. So,
well, and especially if they meet in the finals. Finals isn't really the place where we know a ton of wrestlers to open up. Usually that'll be in the semis. Finals, people just don't want to lose. We get a lot of overtime matches, a lot of like 2-1 matches. So we'll see. Besmer can open it up. It'll benefit him possibly.
all right, 138. Our probable one seed Jesse Grajeda. I got to shout out Jesse right now. He's a big fan of the podcast. I hear he wants to be on. We'll see, Jesse. I don't really like having people under 18 on the show, but we'll see what happens. We'll see if we can make something happen. Maybe down the road a little bit. But Orange, Sean Brady, what do you guys take away at this weight?
Jesse Grajeda, he's the man. After watching him against Sergio Vega, oh my God, was I impressed. I expected kind of Vega. I mean, I know Vega's style. He lets people in, he scrambles with them. But Grajeda kind of looked like he was picking him apart until he got cradled a little bit. And I didn't expect that. And Vega's one of the toughest guys in the country. Grajeda impressed me last year as a freshman. This year as a sophomore, he's looked even more unstoppable. I mean, he's tier one, and then the rest of the guys, even Cortez. Cortez he's got to perform top level to make the final. Maestas, Rivera, Requena, they're not going to be easy to beat. And then, I mean, you even got Orbeta rounding out the top 8 here in the rankings, and that dude is a dog. So, to me, it's Grajeda on top no matter what, and then the rest of the field's going to kind of weed itself out, but it's not going to end up like the rankings here, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, Grajeda's a beast. He had that match with Vega, and Vega's slickness just brought him back into it, and he got the fall. Obviously, we have a big dog in this one at number 5, Ames Hofaker from Granite Hills. Very, very tough kid. He's beaten some good guys this year. Losses are to Cortez, a 5-4 match. Rivera from Clovis, who's done a great job for them. I don't believe he's started in the past for them. And if I'm wrong on that, I'm sorry, but I'm pretty sure he hadn't started. And he's having a great year as well. And yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be tough to knock off number 1, but these guys are good. Cortez is a dog. Maestas is a dog. It's gonna be a fun weight. I'm super excited for this weight.
Yeah, same. I think Grajeda's tough. Obviously, he had Vega on the ropes at Doc B. We got a guy, number 5. He's going to be, hopefully facing him. We got to beat a tough Clovis kid, most likely, that's taking us out this year. We got him in the off season, and he got us at Doc B. So, hoping we can write that path and give our guy a shot in the semifinals would be nice. But this is a fun weight. There's a lot of good wrestlers. This is a good one to watch. 38s and 26s are top of my list, I think. So,
and especially outside of guys that based on these last rankings are expected to place, and obviously we'll find out beginning of this week exactly how the seeds are. But you got some really tough guys that might not be even seeded top 8. I mean, you got Daniel Reza from South Bakersfield, who's really dynamic and has a lot of really good ways to score, and a super tough and gritty wrestler. You have a returning state placer at 106, Blake Woodward, who's obviously up a few weights, and he started here at 157 and has been kind of creeping his way down. You got Vinny Gutierrez from Fountain Valley, sophomore, is very tough. And then Shay Dawson, Morro Bay guy, again, somebody who could be around 12 guy and possibly sneak on the podium. And then James Ruiz from Esperanza, sophomore, He upset, I'm trying to remember without looking at it. I'm looking at it. Josh Requena. Okay. I mean, that was another big one. And I think what's interesting about how Southern section is kind of split is like in some instances, the best, I'm going to do air quotes, the best guys won't necessarily face each other before the state tournament in their section. But on the other hand, though, it gives opportunities for some of these guys that maybe aren't quite in the top 10-ish to kind of get opportunities to wrestle some of those better Southern section guys at that weight. So very interested to see how they're going to seed it. I know there's some other shifting around the guys in the top 8 right now. But again, it's like what Brady said. I mean, there's going to be a lot of interesting matches that are going to happen like in the second round of championship. So really excited for that. I'm looking forward to it.
How was the San Diego finals at Masters here? What was that match like?
Very competitive. I think we got 2 or 3 takedowns. He got 1 takedown. And then I think he got a reversal and a couple of escapes. And we may have got 2 near fall at the end. It's just a competitive match, man. We wrestled him 3 times now, and it's fireworks every time. It's fun. It's good for the sport. It's fun to watch. So, yeah.
Without giving anything away, I mean, you guys had wrestled them the week before, right, and took a loss. I mean, Myers might be watching this podcast, once we post it. Without giving anything away, what adjustments you guys make?
At this weight?
Yeah.
We've wrestled them 3 times. We have not lost yet.
That's right. Got it.
We got them at Doc B.
I misread that. Yeah.
It's okay. Every time's close. It's fun. There's not too much game plan. It's just go out and do what you do best, really. And that's the good thing. It's just go have fun. Do what you do.
I honestly, I think those two have a good chance of breaking in the top 5. Which
I'm hoping they both get on the podium. It's great. It'd be good for San Diego. It'd be good for obviously for Poway and their team title shot. So they're both underclassmen, and they're going to be, well, I guess we're a junior, but we both will be back next year. So I'm sure they'll probably see each other again.
Sean, you got any thoughts on this?
I think Sean had to take a phone call real quick or something. He stepped out.
Sean just like I'm just here until we're done talking about all of our guys that are expected to place, and then I'm gonna be done.
he already shared his thoughts here. Let's move on to 44s.
Dude, I'm gonna start this one. Nikkei and Toscano, very interesting Masters final. The previous week it came down to overtime, and this time, I mean, honestly, dude, Zinkin hit this pretty sweet. It looked like it was kind of like a misdirection duck to Toscano's right side, and was able to get in. And then Toscano just kept trying to roll, and Zinkin was just doing a good job, just kind of really just staying on his hips. And for me, I think for Toscano to be able to beat Zinkin, it's just like, I don't know if you necessarily want to be out there gunslinging, because that's like part of who you are and part of how you're able to score, but just being very disciplined with your hands and not letting your hands come up. And Zinkin doing a really good job, just creating a lot of pressure and finding that dynamic way to score, I think is super impressive. So very interested in this weight. It's obviously well represented at Central Section.
This weight's tough because obviously top 2 are the top 2 for me. I was able to watch some of those highlights from Zink and Toscano. And I mean, just a thought in my mind is, I mean, just like Rockland Zink and you're winning these close matches, how often can you do that? And how often can you beat the same guy over and over and over? And especially, man, these Central Section guys, they're wrestling each other all the time. So I don't know. I had a thought in my mind. I was like, I wonder if Toscano can really get it done at state if they meet up in the finals. He possibly can, but I mean, one of the tougher tests. I think Nikkei Zinkin's probably one of the better guys, one of the top guys overall, pound for pound. He's just been looking dominant, solid. I mean, I just don't really see a lot of cracks in the armor. And then you got Romero, Kikinov, Priest, Gutierrez. I mean, I was wondering about Gutierrez. I was going to ask about him. Have you guys watched him this year? I mean, last year, the #1 guy ends up getting knocked off as a freshman or as a sophomore, sorry, this year as a junior. I'm just wondering how highly he was rated last year. Is he going to kind of make some noises here, or is he just going to kind of fall into kind of the lower placings? I'm just wondering what he's going to do.
I mean, Brady, you're rocking a CBU shirt right now, and he's committed to CBU, so you got to know.
I watched a lot of him last year. This year, I haven't seen too much of him. I don't know what if he was out a little bit. I just haven't really spent too much time finding him. I guess he looked really good last year. Just kind of kept stuff too close, and sometimes that bites you. I think this weight is same thing. Two horse race. I think the other guys are really good, fighting for that third, fourth, fifth spot. Is going to be big for some team stuff, but yeah, I think McCade's got Toscano 3 out of 4 times now.
I think they wrestled 5.
I know he's got him all regular season, but I think he lost. Did he lose to him at Super 32? I want to say he did.
Yes, he did.
He lost to Toscano.
Yeah. So Toscano beat him at Super 32. Okay, and then you had Zinkin finals, which McCade won. Then you had Doc B, which McCade won. Then you had the duel, which McCade won. Then you had D1 section for Central. McCade won. And then you had Masters. So I'm not a math guy. I'm starting to run out of fingers. So, but I think it's 5 to 1 right now with another opportunity to wrestle against State.
And that's all this year?
That's just this year.
Wow.
We were kind of talking about this when we saw the result yesterday, but I mean, it seems like McCade's got his number, but I mean, he's been denied a couple times in the state finals. I can't imagine he's going to go down a third time. I don't know. You just got to, at that point, it's like, hey, you got to try something. You got to do, change something up. So I wouldn't count him out of it. I think Toscano, he has all the skills to do it. I don't know what the exact game plan is. Obviously, stay out of those like crazy athletic positions that Zinkin's really funky in. But other than that, I don't know. I don't know if it's keep it close or try to. I'm not sure.
I mean, you can't overlook Michael Romero either. I mean, I think that was a close match that Toscano and him had wrestled. So I don't know. I mean, I think that's probably going to be the finals. But it's a big match, and I think sometimes the way that Toscano wrestles, sometimes you wrestle some very close matches. He doesn't quite open up.
I think you're right. I thought he beat Romero a little bit worse, but I think now that I might be remembering wrong, he might have got a takedown to seal it late. I think it was shows 4-0, but now I thought it was worse for some reason. But
was it a Reno they wrestled?
No, it was at Doc B semis. I want to say, pretty sure. Yeah. Or quarters, maybe.
That sounds right. Sounds right.
Yeah, I mean that's my thoughts on the weight. I think those are the two best guys. The other guys are good. 3, 4, 5.
Yeah. I want to shout out Keekanoff just because. I mean, going from 106 to 144. I wasn't a huge believer. He talks to a lot of the slam kids on my team. They're all good friends. So they're like, watch him. I watched him at Doc B. I watched him at Reno TOC. He looked great. I don't know if he could touch Zinkin or Toscano. They're beatable, but I don't know. But I see him as more of a contender than a Romero. I had my kid, Drake Hueyman, wrestle Romero in the semis of Reno TOC. Was beating him 1-0. Basically had him dead to rights. Last 9 seconds. Ankle picked him. Took him down. Beat my kid in the last 9 seconds. So he's got it in him, but to me, he's not one of the contenders here. But I think
he's too inconsistent. Like I see him get really gassed out. I remember watching him wrestle Lakeside against Lakeside at Temecula, and dude, he was looking a little tight. Again, super talented wrestler, and the fact that he's up quite a few weights, after taking second in state at 106 last year, I mean, color me impressed, But I think if he wants to really break through, it's like I gotta see him, man. Like you can be so talented, certain parts of your match, but you gotta be wrestling the whole 6 minutes, man. And granted, I mean, at Temecula, it's not the end of the year. You want to be peaking at the right time. But for me, just as a competitor standpoint, if you really want to open matches, you gotta make sure you got the gas behind you a little bit, be able to execute that good technique.
Yeah, Coach Myers taking notes. I guarantee.
Yeah, write it down, John. Thank you. Sean, you look sick, man. You good?
I'm good. I think Nikkei gets it done. Has there ever been a 4-time second place finisher before?
Oh gosh, dude. He's Dayton Fix. He's the next Dayton Fix. No.
I'm just curious. I
He's
mean,
the Dayton Fix of California wrestling.
wonder.
I can't believe you said that, Sean.
I'm just saying it could
he's only a
happen.
junior though, so
But if he loses in the finals this year, then
I don't think there has.
yeah.
Been. I don't think there has been because I've seen the list of 4-time medalists.
Let's not speak that into existence. Can't believe you said that, Sean.
I'm not speaking it into existence. I'm asking a question. Has it happened before?
And everyone
Dude,
acts like it's the end of the world. I don't feel bad. I don't. I never placed at state. Finals 4 times.
That's why you don't feel bad, Oren.
Good on you. No, it's fine. It's fine. You didn't get it done. Sorry. Better luck in college. Hopefully you get a national
Hey,
final.
raise your hand if you're a California State placer. Good job, Brady. Good job. Well represented.
Hey, I'm sorry.
Oh,
No, we suck. Yeah. Let's move on to 150s.
Oh man. Yeah.
150s, huh? Who's taking it?
Mine's not my internet. When I load up too many browsers, it gets off. So one of you guys gonna have to step up.
I got Zepeda. He's really good. I think Arias can keep it competitive, but I mean, I don't know. The Doc B semi was kind of fun. The coaches got a little chirpy, and I think Zepeda was saying something to Tirapelli, but I think Zepeda is really good, and I think this will be another one where Buchanan needs to get to the finals here to solidify some team point advantage, because I think he's the second best guy, so I think it's his job. Raby's tough. He's athletic and strong, so we'll see. I don't know if they've wrestled yet. I don't think they have.
Who did you say was tough?
Raby
from Anderson.
Yes.
Yeah, he's tough, dude.
He was a state placer 2 years ago. I think.
Oh, did they rank him somewhere else?
If we want to talk about pound for pound wrestlers in California, right? I feel like there's a very solid argument to put Zepeda up close to the top, if not number one. I think for me, well, yeah, I know. Just a couple other names came in, but Zepeda loves wrestling, dude. And you can tell by the way that he competes and the passion that he brings out. And man, he likes to talk after he wins, which I'm not saying I'm actually a fan of. I think it's actually kind of cool. I think he got there's a couple things that happened at Mikkel's. There was a semi-viral video of him spladling somebody at Masters, and it was one of our kids, and he was like a second-year wrestler, played basketball as a freshman, and it kind of sucked, watching it. But it was after his finals at Mid-Cal's, he won, and he's like, "You gotta find somebody better than that to beat me." And I'm paraphrasing a little bit. I was like, "Dude, let it out, Sauce Zepeda. Let it out."
I like it.
He just brings a lot of enthusiasm.
He does. He's pound for pound number 2 in California. I'll give him Doc B finals. I knew it was going to be a tough match. I was very much. I mean, I can't remember the name of the kid he wrestled, but I just remember they kept calling for him and he wasn't there.
Ninninger.
I was like, is he going to show up? And I knew it was going to be a tough match, and Zepeda picked him apart. And I was like, okay. Because, Zepeda, Bassett, they can have close matches, but then you could see Zepeda could be number 2 in the country, but then to, 4, 5, 6 guy, he might, have a close match, something like that. He picked this guy apart. It didn't even look close. And I was very curious to see how that match is going to go down. Ton of respect for the guy ever since kind of watching him. First time he won state, I think it was one of the first times I watched him wrestle. And super impressed. Love the way he moves. And then just a great personality in the sport. Doesn't get any better. I root for him at the college level, but no one touches him here. I'm just curious. I feel like that Max DeBosk from Clovis North, I think he's going to make some noise, and I think he could be a finals contender if he's not 5th.
I've got Zepeda taking it. I think it's a good battle for getting into the finals, but I don't think anyone comes close to him. He should honestly bonus his way through the tournament, and that'll be big team points for Gilroy.
Yeah, I think Zepeda's the favorite here. I think for some of these other guys at the weight, though, I think potentially could be close. Who really impressed me actually was Gutierrez and Bullard. Ended up taking out the Bosque from Clovis North in the semis at Masters, and ended up losing to Arias from Buchanan. Obviously, it was a medical for in the finals. Not sure if he's necessarily dealing with something. But I think one thing to think about that kind of looking at these results and kind of just thinking about it, everybody's a little bit banged up this time of the year, right? And I think one thing that we think about, and maybe sometimes we speculate, unless we're there, we don't actually see it. There's guys that are dealing with injuries. And sometimes, again, like the big thing is how you respond to a little bit of that adversity. I think can be a big thing, especially for young people in this kind of event. It's just going to come down to who's feeling the best, right? So obviously, Zepeda's favored pretty heavily to win this tournament. But for some of these other guys that might be kind of going through some stuff, it's all about how you're going to respond mentally and making the decision to kind of push through some discomfort.
Moving on, 157. This is going to be interesting because these rankings have not been updated since Masters, but Leo Contino, who has had a stellar season, just took a loss, I believe, in the Masters finals to Creason, right?
He didn't make the
Lost in the
finals.
Masters
semis.
He didn't
semis.
make the finals.
Masters
He
semis.
lost, dude. Creason's
But
just a dog, man.
he's
Creason is
beaten him
so good on
before.
bottom. Yeah, in
And he's
Masters finals last year.
Yeah, he's beaten him before. So
And you know how he did it? You know he did it? Dude, he's just crazy on the mat. He had a reversal to Quintino's back last year. And I was coaching somebody else at the time, so I didn't get to see the actual match. But it was pretty close. Dude, Creason is just super athletic and he's strong. And he's very tough on the mat. Very tough on the mat. But who really impressed me was Bo Priest. Bo Priest did a really great job. Kind of cruise doing, and this is a very competitive way, especially in the central section.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. And I don't know how the seeds are gonna shake out because Priest is the 2 currently, and he's lost to the 1.
Well,
Yeah,
you gotta put Bo on 1.
do you though?
You wouldn't put Bo. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're I think Contino technically has the win, but if you look at just recent results,
Well, who
you
won
gotta
Masters?
you
Did
gotta
Bo
put
beat Creason
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
Masters
Mhm.
finals?
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So you go Bo 1. Leo, I don't know how far he drops. Move Bo to 1, move Leo to 3, Creason to 6. Let's see that quarterfinal.
I
Yeah.
didn't see
Run
what
it.
happened on the
Run
backside
it.
though. Let
RK.
me look really quick. I didn't see what happened on the backside at this weight. But the Everett Alvarez kid is super tough too. So do you put him as the 2?
I don't think you can jump him up that high. He
was the
has a couple
3.
losses.
No, the 3 is Del Bosque.
Yeah, Del Bosque.
Sorry, he was the 4. So Contino beat Del Bosque. So do you put Contino as
Probably 2.
the 2?
I would say he's the 2.
Then you put Creason as the 3?
How high can Creason jump? Because a lot of
Yeah, I
these
don't
guys
know.
above him have
I
beaten
don't
him.
know, man.
But Creason at 7.
Where did Caruso finish?
He finished
Caruso
5th.
finished 5th. He lost to he beat
He lost to
actually
Del Bosque.
let's back it up a little bit because I messed up. Okay. Creason beat Contino in the semis. That's right. Dude, Creason and Caruso had like a crazy match in the quarters. Creason won that one. And then on the backside, let me see what happened on the backside because I didn't look at the backside yet. Del Bosque beat Caruso 8-5 in Conti semis. Contino beat Nick Hernandez from Highland 7-1. And then Contino won by forfeit Del Bosque. So if that forfeit didn't happen, I mean, I don't know.
Do you go?
I know
Priest
Del Bosque has been dealing with some injuries, so let's.
I think Creason only jumps up to like, I don't know, maybe 7. I don't think he jumps that high.
I think he jumps to 8.
Yeah, maybe 8. Yeah,
He jumps to 8. But that puts him facing
Priest.
Priest in the quarters.
I
Dude,
think, yeah.
that's wild.
Gonna be
That's wild
interesting.
to me.
Gonna be interesting.
I like it. Creason did Priest some major favors.
You don't think he jumps possibly to like the 6?
I don't think how can he jump these other guys?
Because
They
he has
beat him.
wins over win over Contino.
Perez has beat him, beat him, and 1-1 with Contino.
Yes, not Perez, but what about Holman?
You can't just jump Del Bosque.
Why not? Yeah,
Because he has a common opponent. He has a common
but Del
opponent.
Bosque is 4th.
Yeah, I don't know. That's gonna be a tough one.
The forfeits are supposed to hurt you when it comes to seating. That's what the precedent that has been set.
You're true. You're right on that. I don't know how he jumps the 6, 7, 5, any of those guys.
I mean, look at who he's lost to. He's lost to Bo Priest, he lost to Caruso, and he lost to Perez. So he wouldn't be above Perez.
But like Holman, he only has Contino and Priest are his only losses. And same with Perez's. Well, Perez actually has a loss to Caruso, but yeah, that's gonna be a fun one. I mean, tune into that one early. Watch that weight. I think there's they can all honestly it's open. So
Ryan Carroll, let's get in there.
Yes, sir. Pulling for him.
All right,
you guys want to move on to 65?
Yeah, let's move on. It's already 9:00.
I know.
You got to run through these.
We got this.
Oh, this one's interesting.
Dude, I'm a big fan of Slava from Birmingham.
This one's going to be good.
A lot of it has to do with his name.
I think Antonio's coming out on top. Calling it now. I think he gets it done. A rematch with Slava in the semis is going to be a good one, but I think he makes the adjustments. And he's already beaten Carini this year, and I think he gets it done again and avenges his loss last year.
I agree. I think Antonio's the guy. He let Doc B I think he panicked a little bit. He gave up a slide by and then just kind of let his pressure get a little bit to him. I think he's the guy for the job here. But title shot wise for team, this is going to be big. I mean, obviously Bosco's in there too. Gilroy and Poway.
Yeah, Travis Grace is UC super tough. I'm a big fan of Carini though. I think trying to remember who called it last year. I know we called it collectively as a group last year before state that Carini was going to do a really good job at the state tournament. But I think Mario Carino looked really, really, really good at Temecula. The way that he was able to just put it on somebody and. I don't know. I think he's the clear favorite. I think he beats Antonio. I think he beats Slava. I think he beats whoever's in front of him.
I almost agree with that. I mean, to me, Antonio is the favorite, but Carini's a dog, and he proved it last year. He's proven. I've seen him at so many tournaments this year. Just he gets after it. He's got the right mindset for it. I'm gonna go with Brian here. I think he pulls it off. Carini Antonio final, and Carini gets it done. State champ as a sophomore at 165. Wow.
Yeah, this weight really cleared out after Blumenglog decided to go up. But honestly, though, it's kind of a similar. Like honestly, I think after maybe like the top 7 guys, like it's kind of wide open in terms of who could possibly also get on the podium.
Yeah, there's been some stuff at Masters that will change some of those. I think rankings in the bottom 6 through 10, but it's gonna be that's a good weight too.
Yeah,
pay attention to that one. 75.
Oh yeah, let's go 75. So I'm super glad Tyler Ice is able to wrestle. I'm not necessarily down to spill the tea right now. Maybe why he was suspended and what investigations may or may not been happening. But I'm glad that he's got the chance to wrestle. And coming over from Colorado, this will be his first California State tournament as a senior.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm glad he got to wrestle. I mean, he's a good kid. This is a good weight. I want to see some good matches, so I'm glad he got to come in.
And I wish I could actually watch the match between him and Pyle. I'm glad Pyle's back too. But I think Ice might have beat him like 7-2 or something like that, or 7-1.
I hadn't seen that result, but
I didn't see that either. Yeah.
that doesn't necessarily surprise me, to be honest. I mean, I think it's about that distance for the separation.
Yeah. Do we think Mason Ontiveros can make some noise? I was super impressed with him last year in the finals, and this year he's just gotten bigger. He's gotten tougher. Not sure he beats Ice, but is he making the finals? Is he beating Pyle?
He lost a pile at the
7-1.
Madeira
Arvalo in the semis.
Arvalo
What was
by
the score?
fall. It was by fall. I don't know. I haven't seen the film on that match. I don't know if it was a scramble. I don't know who was winning when the fall happened. Since that's
Yeah,
not
I was there, and I didn't see how he lost either. But that was back at that was 190 pounds. So obviously both guys are down a weight. If they wrestle, it'll be the morning, day 3 of weigh-ins. So I mean that could possibly be a factor. Both these guys are big guys. I mean, Mason's a big dude, right? So we'll kind of see what happens. I mean, I'm a big Mason Ontiveros fan. I think he wrestles really hard. Sometimes I feel like he can't necessarily sustain that pace a whole match. And I think that's sometimes of like the cost benefit. If you can wrestle really hard in the beginning, sometimes you can kind of build up a lead. But against some of these better guys, sometimes it has to become a little bit of a chess match. And I think that's kind of where, if you're deviating a little bit from your style and how you wrestle, that's where it can be a little bit tougher to beat some of these guys that on paper are ranked ahead of you if you're Icy or if you're Pyle. I wish Brian was on. I want to know about Fernandez from St. John Bosco. I haven't seen him wrestle yet.
Stud. He's tough. He's definitely tough. I watched him for the first time out at Super 32 this past year, and I was like, man, this guy's really, really good. He was impressive. So I think he's gonna do good. This weight's gonna be interesting with the top five. Honestly, like the top 8. We've got a guy at 8, Junior Blumenglog, who just avenged a loss this past weekend to number 6, Gunnar Neal of Poway, defeating him in the Masters finals. So I don't know how that seating arrangement is going to end up. I don't know if we move to 7 or 6, but it's going to be good. I think the quarterfinal round for this bracket is going to be really, really fun. The 4-5 will be really interesting, and there might be some upsets.
I think this is the second toughest weight. I think the year it started as the toughest weight, but I think
people just kind of left like we thought Rocha was going to go 75s, and he stayed at 90s. I mean, we had a guy that it's pretty tough that has 90s that decided to go up to 215s. It's like I don't know if they all like are talking to each other and trying to figure out which weight they're going to go or what.
they're ducking.
I don't know. I mean, it's kind of like it's kind of like last year at 150s. It's like you had a couple of guys that probably could have gone down or could have gone up, and maybe that would have lightened the weight class a little bit. But part of the other side of it is like, hey, let's find out who the best guy is, and that's kind of what the state tournament is all about.
Yeah.
Okay, 190s.
Let's do it.
Let's move on. I mean, there was a big, I don't want to say big upset, but I always want to say Busey because I love Gary Busey, but it's Bussy, right? It's Levi Bussy.
Yeah.
I think it's Bussy,
So,
yeah.
Borelli took out Bussy in
Really?
the Sac Joaquin finals. Yeah,
Wow.
4-1.
What's the score?
I think it was 4-1.
Whoa. To me,
Wow.
Bussy, I've seen him all year. He's been Mr. Consistency all year. Attack, and just he's always making the finals, and then even beat Brockton in the Doc B finals. Wow. That's impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's super tough. He majored Vanis in the semis from Pittman.
Wow.
But I'm assuming, right? I mean, they're just gonna switch spots. So again, it's like you're gonna have to make adjustments, and we'll see what's gonna happen at the state tournament.
Yeah.
I just realized this is 3 San Joaquin guys at the top. That's that's impressive.
Hey,
That's
I mean, they're the third best section.
I knew you were
in the
going to
state.
say that.
You're
You're predictable, dude. You're predictable.
Read them like a book. Read them like a book.
It's weird. It's weird how the truth can be predictable sometimes.
Yeah,
Facts
yeah.
like 2 + 2 is.
I just want you to
Water
know.
is.
I just want you to go look at the state medals results from the last 3 or 4 years. Just go look at them, and you let the results decide.
Okay.
Fair point.
Okay.
This will be good though. I think the top three are they're super tough, but 4 and 5. I mean, David Calkins, 2-time state medalist, wrestling under our guy Alex Encarnacion Strand. I mean, he's a stud. Roach is a stud. Roach hasn't seen a lot of these guys too, so that's also interesting. I believe at Super 32, he was there. He ended up taking 4th. That was my first time watching him.
Yeah.
Borelli at Super 32 took they were at different weights, but took 5th, and Bussy was 4th. So yeah, man, I think the top 6 is going to be interchangeable, but really the top 4 I think are going to hold, and it's just going to depend on who shows up.
Yeah. And a weight where we see Poway in the rankings and no Buchanan, so possibly a chance for them. They can get a place, Dominic Dotson a place here and a high place. And I don't know who Buchanan has here, but could be a chance for Poway to get one on them.
I don't think Buchanan has anybody.
They qualified 14 though, so I know they have
did.
somebody. But
Yeah, they got someone. He's in there.
Raiden Bishop.
Yeah,
sophomore. And he's, I think it's a great opportunity for him to kind of get in the lineup, and that's kind of like where I've seen the central section fall off. And I don't know if you guys see the same thing, but dude, like 75s and 190s, outside of like the top guys, has been super weak.
Yeah,
like a lot of guys that haven't been wrestling for very long can kind of go either which way. Seeds aren't necessarily holding strong, kind of going into the Masters to qualify. Have you guys seen Mason Savidian wrestle?
I have not.
I saw him a few times.
Yeah, I mean he's a doc. Go ahead.
He's gonna be really good. I think he's still kind of young, learning. He's obviously had some good accomplishments, but he definitely makes some mistakes like early in the tournaments. I don't know if it's a weight cut or not, or but he's only a freshman, I think, right? Yeah. So good upside on that guy for sure. Yeah, I think he's a placer. I don't know if he can quite contend with the top 5 or 6 guys here yet. But I'm excited to watch him. He looked good at some tournaments too. So if he can keep it good. 215.
Let's do it.
I mean, come on, guys. Come on. Honestly, so we'll start, obviously, Angelo Posada. I mean, not only number 1 in the state, not only number 1 in the country. He's number 1 in the country, right? Yeah. Because he 1-1 with that guy. Viola. Posada's the guy, super impressive. I love the way he wrestles. He's so fun, but I think the drama here really is with 2 and 4, right? McDonald and Cardi. Saw some drama on the Facebook page. I think they've gone back and forth at this point now. Let me look actually.
Yeah, I think they're 2 and 2 against each other, maybe.
Yeah.
And they didn't face each other at Masters. They were a different. They were in the blue and the gold. They were.
They didn't. It was last week.
Yeah, it was last week.
It's McDonald's up 2-1 against Cardi at the moment.
Oh, yeah, but every single matchup has been close except for the last one. And according to Brian, Cardi was winning by a good amount before he got that fall. So I haven't seen him wrestle yet, but just kind of looking at how these matches have been going, it's been close. And then he has his big lead, and then ends up getting the fall. I mean, it's a little bit misleading because you just see the fall, but when you hear, hey, he had a big lead before that. My thing is how are you going to seed this thing? Like, this is another kind of wild one. I mean, obviously, you got to keep the one Posada still. But then Cardi, I mean, does he pass Burford? I feel like he has to.
He has to. But I just don't think he passes McDonald. Obviously, 2-1.
You don't think so?
No.
This was the drama online.
On the Facebook page. This was the drama, and I didn't comment, but the thing is, it was it's clear. Sure, he pinned him and he was up, but it's still 2-1. 2-1. I don't know how it looks on
Yeah,
the
but what's the
I
whole
think they're
point of?
arguing why is he behind the other? Why is he
Yeah, so
behind
he
number
should
3?
pass Buford,
Burford.
but it should be 1 Posada, 2 McDonald, 3 Cardi. It just makes sense.
I'm okay if you put Posada and then either McDonald or Cardi as the 2 and the 3.
Yeah,
I think
for
that's
sure.
fine. I think they're interchangeable.
Yep.
Sure.
I think for Wes, I mean, he doesn't have the wins yet, but Cardi has a win over McDonald, and I would say that allows him to move up, right? He's got some good wins against some other guys too. But I mean, those are his 2 losses on the year. So
Yeah, that'll be a fun one when the stuff comes out, because I remember seeing that Facebook stuff too. So
Did
let him be
Brock
2 and
Rios win your guys' Masters?
no, so Brock was he was actually wrestling Dominic Wilson from Tulare, which I don't know if you guys seen him wrestle. That guy is all over the place. Like he goes like freestyle holds. Like you'll get to his leg and he'll try to crotch lock you and lift. Now, for somebody that loves funk and likes doing some shenanigans wrestling, I'm like, Brock, this guy he's not gonna throw anything at you that you hadn't seen. But his knees bothered him a little bit, so he had to wrestle pretty fundamental. And Brock was doing a really good job getting to his legs, which just wasn't able to score. And ended up. I think he got reversed in the second and third period. We chose neutral after the guy had taken injury time. And we had a stall call. I'm like, all right, dude, like you're in the driver's seat. You got to his legs a bunch. Kind of just had a little bit of a freak out, but. Ended up getting caught on his back and pinned and still kind of rallied and came back and took third. And this is if you look at the central section, this is a really tough weight, right? I mean, you got a lot of guys in the central section that are in the top 10. I think I don't know. I think he's going to do really well at the state tournament. I think mentally, I think he's in a really good spot. And I think losing that match and coming back and take third, I think was a testament to his progress. So I don't know. I think Brock's pretty good. I'm pretty confident in his ability to do really well this weekend.
Was that in the semifinals?
Yeah, that was in the semi.
then
So
did
he
he
was
come back
the
and-
1 seed. And he
He
came
come
back
back and get third?
Yeah.
Who did he beat for third?
He beat Aiden
Clovis.
Castillo. Yeah, Castillo, dude, that guy's pretty good cradle. He's long, he's kind of awkward, he's strong. And Brock's beaten him a few times already. Sammy Saya ended up getting second. Castillo, I'm pretty sure beat
Sinfel?
I need to look. I don't want to just say Sinfel because he's a higher ranked guy. Sinfel is pretty tough too, though. I mean, Sinfel is just strong. He's athletic. Let's look at it. Yeah, Castillo beat Sinfel. There's another guy from RFK. I don't know if you guys remember. His name's Jace Demakia Hoblin. He was rounded 12 as a freshman. I want to say maybe like 195. And then last year, he just didn't wrestle. He's a football player. And then this year just came out. He had taken out Ayala from Kingsburg. And we hadn't seen him, and he's built like a horse. I'm like, oh, dude, this guy might be tough. And Brock just freaking crushed him on the back end. He was up 14-0 and then pinned him. So I don't know. I don't know how they're going to see this with the lower placing weights, but again, I'm glad I don't have to do the seeding, and ultimately it doesn't. Seedings are for chumps anyways. So all right, heavyweights with Ben Stiller, the Disney movie. You guys seen that movie? That's a good movie.
It's a classic.
Honestly, like this was kind of deflating because at the beginning of the year, this was like, oh, dude, Sahakian versus Merrill.
Yeah, this is it.
I'm super bummed Sahakian's not wrestling for 2 big reasons. For one, man, I want Sahakian healthy. I want Merrill healthy. I want them to wrestle in the state finals. That's what I want. Okay. Yeah. And then 2, I mean, Sahakian, you get those points. I mean, this was St. John Bosco. This was a great opportunity to contend for a team title. And I would say, arguably, they still can. I mean, they're a guy that's a heavyweight right now, filling in for Sahakian. Mm-hmm. Like he's very capable too. And normally when you look at these upper weights, it's kind of all over the place.
Yeah, true. Especially at the high school level, there's so much turnover here. I'm not sure. I haven't really watched Mark Maron a ton, but
He's
I don't.
solid. He's
Yeah.
solid. Yeah, he's got good leg attacks. He can ride.
Yeah.
Honestly, he could probably wrestle 215s. In the past, I mean, that's where he's had the most success. He did really well as a freshman at 220s. And then went down to 195s and then went down again to 190s. But he's a two-time placer as a freshman and sophomore. Didn't place last year. And now he's ranked number 2 in the state. And probably going to get the 2 seed.
What did they say? Kobe's mat time was a Masters 2:36. Was it?
Less than 3 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. I think he does the same thing at state. I think he runs through it. I think he pins everyone really quick. Yeah, he hasn't had a challenge all year. Sahakin would have been fun, but we don't get it. So maybe one of us can suit up and get after him in the back room.
Who's the heaviest right now?
Or all
Who's
of
the
us at
heaviest?
once, maybe. He looks bigger than he's ever looked. First time I saw him,
scary big.
I was like, whoa.
How do you wrestle him at practice? I mean,
I was just thinking that. Like, he's one of those guys that, like, no offense, would not be fun to wrestle with at practice. Just
No.
because he get on your leg and then he'd take you down and land, and you have to get up again, and you have to let him get to your leg again.
Imagine hard drilling with him, pushing your head down. They probably have him drilling with a Ford F-150 at this point. Honestly,
Harlan Kistler, I bet he puts the shoes on. He's got to be the guy that wrestles with him.
Harlan's pretty good. He's big
Shout
and
out to
good.
Harlan.
He'll be.
I do want to answer this question though. Who's the biggest right now of the 4 of us?
not me, probably.
Oren's the smallest. That guy is.
Oren's the smallest. For sure.
185, 190.
I'm about 210.
We might be the same, Brady.
I think Brian's got it.
I was 204 after practice the other day.
Nice.
Oh, I think it's me.
So, yeah, but yeah, I don't know. My weight fluctuates a lot. I still sweat a lot.
too.
So,
Yeah.
after practice, we can weigh in.
There we go.
What about you, Sean? How much do you weigh?
About 205, and I'm leaving practice around 200 probably.
Nice.
Dude, all right, guys. So, California Open, couple weeks.
Are you doing
You
it?
going for it?
Not in the
US
cards,
Open.
Do we just
for
have
me.
our own California Open at the state tournament?
Let's just go to the US Open.
The simple
Just
man.
clear out a
Open.
mat during warm-ups. Be like, 1 second, guys. We have to settle
No, but this isn't about representing your country. This isn't about winning a national freestyle title. This is about us settling old beef.
I don't.
Well, no,
and new
it's-
beef.
Yeah,
I'll
all
have
the.
I'm putting the notebook right on the mat next to it, so
I'm
the
gonna start
winner
my own
can
notebook.
document.
Yeah, but we
I'm
get
gonna-
added
I'm gonna-
to it. Hey,
I'm pretty sure I had a notebook going on at the same time, and I haven't been able to take time to look through the garage and find it. So maybe I'll find my own notebook and I'll look at the journal entries from October 10th,
He's
2016.
just gonna
We'll
write a
see.
bunch of stuff like beat shot.
Yeah.
No, because why would I make something up and write it down? And if it's on paper and I have it dated, that's the truth.
Okay, and
It's indisputable.
winner gets to host the Zoom link too. Okay, you have
Yeah.
to forfeit that if you lose.
Brady, do you guys have a Zoom through your school district?
We probably do, but I don't use it. If we do, I don't
so
know.
you wouldn't
it.
know.
Yeah.
Sean, you're on campus. Do you get an email?
Nope.
So you don't have one. So Oren, do you have a Zoom? Do you have a
I
Zoom
have
account?
I have it through work, but different.
Got
account.
Got it.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, team title. Who's getting it? Make your calls.
Ooh.
Let's go top 5. Let's go top 5. Who finishes
top
5th,
five.
4th, 3rd, 2nd, 1st?
Oh my goodness. All right. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna go first. I'm saying Buchanan's gonna take first. Powey's gonna take second.
Is it close?
I think it's close. I don't know exactly how close. If it's gonna be like 10 points or 20 points. But I mean, a match or two, here and there, for sure. I think Bosco takes 3rd. I think Gilroy takes 4th. And then I don't know. Yeah, I think Clovis is a solid 5th.
It's
All right, Michael Cho, good job.
yeah.
Oren, what do you think? Dude, that's just what Michael Cho thinks.
What do you want me to say? If it's the right
no,
picks, why would I pick against
honestly,
it?
because I agree, and honestly, I want to see us going into Saturday night with Howie Buchanan top 2, but I want it to be in reach. If Poway's in second, I want it to be in reach for them. I want it to be exciting. I want it to be fun. I want it to have, hey, Buchanan is a semi-finalist. Poway is a semi-finalist. It's going to come down to that. But other than that, it's going to be Bosco 3, Gilroy 4, Clovis 5. I just don't see it any other way. Maybe Bakersfield.
I could maybe see Clovis sneaking above Gilroy somehow. Not sure, but potential. I don't know.
Oh, for sure. I could see that.
I've got Buchanan taking first, and I do think Bosco takes second. I mean, there was for so long, we were all saying, for years saying Bosco is going to win it within the next couple of years. Bosco is going to win it within the next couple of years. It's going to be next year. And then it's going to be next year. And then they didn't win, and they didn't win, and they didn't win. And now with losing Sahakian, it's a huge blow. I think with him, they still had title hopes. Without him, I don't see him getting it done, but I do see them sliding into that second spot. Poway finishing third, Gilroy fourth, and Clovis fifth.
What do you think, Brian?
So here's my take. I'm gonna go in reverse order. I'm gonna try to. Okay. Couple things. I think it's gonna come down to there's a lot of Buchanan, Poway, Bosco, Gilroy, Clovis. A lot of guys that are like 2s and 3s. I think obviously you got to have your horses get to the finals. But those 2s and 3 spots in the semis, as well as some quarterfinal matchups, are ultimately going to determine who's going to win the team title. That's going to be the big rounds, quarters, semis. For me, I think in terms of who's going to finish 3rd through 5th as a team is going to come down to how many guys you get on the podium, as well as how they wrestle on the backside. I think I have to throw some caution in the wind. I like the way that Clovis North is competing as a team. I'm going to give them 5th. I'm going to go Clovis 4th. I'm going to go St. John Bosco. I'm going to put them at 3rd. I'm going to put I want to say it, but I'm not going to. I'm going to chicken. I'm going to put Poway 2nd and Buchanan 1st. And the reason being is I feel like there's a couple guys that are and now based on the ranking, just because the results are maybe in that, obviously in the brackets being built, but there's some so I think some important updates I think is going to allow Buchanan to maybe look like they're going to be able to score more points. But I will say this, I do think it's going to be very close, and I think all these teams are going to be competing in the same tournament together in this kind of format. I think however we say it, top 5, there's a lot of room for error and a lot of things that can happen this weekend.
I agree. I'll make you a bet right now that Gilroy places top 5.
Take it. Take it. Come on, Brian.
I'm not.
Put your money where your mouth is.
No way.
Bet
What's the bet? Burrito?
A Dutch Bros or something. I don't know, since you
A
don't
Dutch
like to pay up burritos.
I'll give you a Dutch Bros burrito. They have burritos here?
No, I don't know. Give me
Didn't I got you a burrito last year, didn't I?
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
No, you
I'm
didn't.
pretty sure I offered you a burrito and you told me no, I don't want that one.
No, World Challenge. You're like, oh, I owe you a burrito. I'm just gonna get you a burrito. I'm like, I already ate breakfast. Like,
no, I Venmoed
it's 9 o'clock.
Didn't I Venmo
maybe
you?
You might have Venmo. You might be right.
If I didn't Venmo you, please let me know.
Hey, double or nothing.
Okay. I just want right now, double or nothing. They will take top 5.
Oh. Take it.
Take it.
Yeah, I know, sucker. What were we betting a burrito?
Let's do it.
All right.
You heard it on the podcast.
You're going to hear first, folks.
All right, let's do it. I'm not a Gilroy hater. For the record,
I think you are.
Dude,
yeah.
DC is going to be like, if he even knows who I am, which every time I see him, he's like, "Oh, you're Frontier, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, all right. And then that's normally that's it. That's been the extent of our conversations. But all right, guys. Any final thoughts before we head into the weekend?
It's gonna
be fun.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see you guys.
Yep.
Love this time.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Come check out our trailers at some point. Come say what's up.
Ours too.
Oh, you guys got a trailer? Is this the first year you had a trailer?
No, Coach Keith's been holding it down, dude. He's
That's right.
He runs the Granite trailer.
Yeah, I promise no slam guys are going to be like, hey, take their spot. I promise.
Dude, that's a
I
story
promise.
for
I might have a
another
couple.
time.
I might have a
That's a
couple kids
story
come.
for another time.
They
Might
took
have
your
a couple
spot.
kids come, but you got your spot.
Once the
excited, boys.
recording's off, you can tell that story.
Okay, guys. All right. We'll see you guys this weekend.
Yep.
Let's do it.